Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh, well, you know what time it is. It's time to cue the shills. All of the media puppets, all of a sudden springing into action, shilling for Alvin Bragg and George Soros. I wonder why, but the beauty of Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter is already starting to shine through. It's an absolutely beautiful moment when the Soros-funded fact-checkers get fact-checked. Oh, what a glorious time to be alive. What an amazing timeline. Trust me when I say you guys are gonna get a kick out of this one. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, take a look at this. Glenn Kessler, editor-and-chief writer of the Washington Post's Fact Checker since 2011. He writes on Twitter, new hashtag fact checker, the incendiary claim that George Soros, quote, funds Alvin Bragg. Oh, spooky. Incendiary. Now I'm not even gonna read the article. You know, there's some leftoids that are claiming, well, there's actually more to the fact check if you read past the headline. Well, no, that justifies absolutely nothing because the headline itself already sets a narrative is so incredibly dishonest that the damage is already done. The damage is inflicted. There's no coming back from that. This guy wins Media Clown of the Week and there's no going back. Regardless of whatever extra added context he conveniently hid behind the headline of the article itself. Not to mention behind the Washington Post's paywall. You need to actually subscribe to read the article itself. Not to mention nobody even reads articles these days. Everyone just reads the headline, and so this man, this supposed fact checker, is intentionally misleading possibly millions of people, millions of readers and voters, and so let's immediately put that one to rest. Now, here's the beautiful moment. I absolutely love this readers adding context, new fact check system on the Twitter platform. It seems more and more prevalent these days, and I'm just loving it. I love the collective consciousness and collective knowledge of the people, so much more than the corrupted, subjective garbage that comes out of mainstream media, talking heads, and so-called journalists, which of course we would rather call journalists. Under Glenn Kessler's little fact check here, a beautiful little Twitter fact check pops up. Readers added context that they thought people might want to know. George Soros donated $1 million to the Color of Change PAC, the largest individual donation it received in the 2022 election cycle, days after it endorsed Alvin Bragg for district attorney and pledged more than $1 million in spending to support his candidacy. Oh, the incendiary claim that George Soros funds Alvin Bragg. Fact check false. George Soros just happened to conveniently donate $1 million to a PAC that conveniently happened to endorse Alvin Bragg and then conveniently the next day just so happened to conveniently pledge $1 million to Alvin Bragg's campaign effort. George Soros isn't funding Alvin Bragg. Give me a frickin' break. Holy moly. These friggin' fact checkers never cease to disappoint now, do they? But wait, it gets better. Fact check chief at the Washington Post, Glenn Kessler, let's just say got a little bit flustered, got a little bit frustrated, a little bit offended, and so he tried fighting back, writing Twitter trolls who posted a community note to this tweet apparently have not read the actual fact check. Nobody needs to read the actual fact check. We read the title, you're a dishonest crook. Click the link and you will find that Color of Change did not spend $1 million in independent expenditures on Bragg, as people often claim. Oh man, I'm about to fall asleep. This guy is making me snore. So Glenn Kessler responds with absolute frickin' copium, and here's where it gets, oh, so juicy and fantastic. Complaining about the community note that was posted on his earlier tweet, another community fact check then fact checks his fact checked of the fact check which got fact checked. Some fact check inception type shit. This tweet then gets this community note. Readers added context that they thought people might want to know. The original community note does not say that the Color of Change PAC spent the $1 million it originally pledged. Soros donated $1 million to the PAC days after it endorsed Bragg and pledged more than $1 million in spending to support his candidacy. Oh my lord, this has to be one of the biggest mainstream media L's of all time. I mean, this moment should go into the freaking history books as one of the most embarrassing moments in mainstream media history on Twitter. I mean, frankly, it really doesn't get any better than this. But moving on from this little situation with Glenn Kessler, regardless of how enjoyable it is to clown on this fool, something's happening. All of a sudden, every mainstream media organization seems to be jumping at George Soros' defense. Forbes writes, George Soros denies conspiracy, suggesting that he backed District Attorney Alvin Bragg, even though he literally did. George Soros, responding to a message on Friday, said that he did not contribute to Bragg's campaign and added, quote, I don't know him, also claiming that he never met him. Sure, of course, it's just another right-wing wacky conspiracy. Except, no, it's not. $1 million was donated to a PAC which then supported Alvin Bragg, and there's no denying that. It's not a wacky right-wing conspiracy. It happened. And it's also not an isolated situation. We know of George Soros endorsed candidates across the nation. They all fit the same frickin' bill. Soft on crime, BS policies, causing complete chaos in left-wing cities, and no amount of media defense and media shilling will change the reality, the truth, the basic truth of this situation. However, the funniest attempted fact check actually came from CNN. The media shills crawl out of their mucky swamp to come to Lord Palpatine's defense.
So there is no sign of a personal relationship between Soros and Bragg. A Soros spokesman told me Soros has never once communicated with Bragg in any way, not in person, not on the phone, not even on Zoom. And Soros did not make any donations to Bragg's 2021 election campaign. Soros did, however, Aaron, play an indirect role in that Bragg campaign by making donations to a PAC, Political Action Committee, that supported Bragg. Now, here are the specifics. Soros is, again, a longtime supporter of criminal justice reform and DA candidates promoting that reform. And his spokesman told me that Soros and an affiliated PAC gave $4 million between 2016 and 2022, including $1 million in May 2021, not specifically earmarked in support of Bragg, but $1 million in May 2021, to a racial justice PAC called Color of Change, which, like Soros, also backs reform-minded DA candidates around the country. Now, Color of Change tells me it ended up spending just over $500,000, so not over $1 million, but just over $500,000 in support of that Bragg campaign. Now, Aaron, Bragg was outspent by millions by his main opponent in the Democratic primary that he won, and Color of Change's president, Rashad Robinson, told me it's a major overstatement, he said a big reach, to suggest that Color of Change's $500K in spending was like the one thing that won the election for Bragg, who's a Harvard law grad, a former state chief deputy attorney general, former federal prosecutor. Robinson told me that his group was important in the race, but merely one of many factors. And Robinson said, quote, up until last week, we couldn't get people to write about our PAC. Now, all of a sudden, we single-handedly elected the Manhattan DA. When he was elected, I didn't get that credit. Now, Robinson also called these Soros-related attacks anti-Semitic, and he added also anti-Black, since he said they suggest that his experienced Black-led PAC wasn't making its own decisions on who to support and how.
Oh, well, there's no evidence of a direct relationship. You don't need a direct relationship to put money into someone's campaign. You know, there's a lot of people who donate to Donald Trump's campaign. Those people are Trump supporters funding Trump's campaign. They don't need to be Donald Trump's personal friend or have met him to be funding his campaign. Great logic, great fact check. And the next argument, well, it wasn't $1 million, it was $500,000. All right, well, you essentially proved that George Soros' money went directly to funding Bragg's campaign, so this isn't exactly a fact check. Then they go on this weird tangent, trying to make some weird point about how George Soros' money didn't get Bragg elected. Again, it has nothing to do with the actual issue at hand here. The point is, he's a left-wing, progressive, radical Democrat who is funded by George Soros. The CNN fact check essentially confirmed the claim that's supposedly a right-wing conspiracy. Not to mention the point, well, oh, Alvin Bragg was outspent by his opponents. Okay, sure, and he still managed to win because a progressive Democrat in Manhattan doesn't need to spend as much money as a Republican trying to overcome the impossible of winning in liberal New York. Then, of course, yada yada yada, my anti-Semitism, my racism, blah blah blah, not even really gonna address it. The Soros shills come to light trying to fact check this wacky right-wing conspiracy theory, and of course, like usual, they make complete donkeys out of themselves. No surprise there, no, not at all. Essentially par for the course. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. You know, we'd love to have you here at the Liberal Hive Mind community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.